Hey, security pros! Welcome to another episode of Security Pro Insights, where we believe Monday is the best day of the week. Fresh starts mean fresh opportunities. Put last week behind you and take the next step to where you wish to be. Our special guest today is Jeff Reider. Jeff has been serving the industry for over 13 years and joined the 2016 class of Security Systems News 20 under 40 end users. Currently, Jeff serves as the Senior Manager of Global Risk and Crisis Management for Paramount Pictures. He specializes in content and asset protection using technology. Jeff was a keynote speaker at the 2016 ISC West Conference and recently shared his insights at the TechSec Solutions Conference. We're excited to have Jeff sharing more insight with the Security Pro Insights audience. Jeff, thanks again for being with us. Could you tell us a little more about you?
Sure, Scott. Thanks for having me. Well, like you said, I've been in the industry about 13 years. I work in the entertainment side of things for Paramount Pictures. Personally, I have 3 kids total, which keep me super busy. An amazing girlfriend that keeps me grounded. I think that's their job. As far as personal stuff, I love football. I'm a fantasy football champion. I've played 4 times and won all 4, I know. It's pretty awesome. I love the Rams because I live in Los Angeles. I know it's a sad thing. And then, USC for college football. So I guess a couple more things about me is I love being outdoors. I'm big into technology, but also like going outside, going camping with my friends. I climb Mount Whitney out here. Currently training to climb Mount San Jacinto out here too. So outdoors are my passion along with my family and friends. Work loves to let me travel and, I guess spread my knowledge places and install systems and, do talks and speak with productions, things like that. So I'm always busy, always traveling. I take the train to work because I work 55 miles from here. I live in Southern California, so traffic is crazy. So it's nice to kind of relax in the train coming to and from work. But that's pretty much all about me personally.
So you take the train, and while you're on the train, you study fantasy football.
Yeah, pretty much. All my friends give me crap for it because they say I can, put in more time and effort than they can. But, I think it's a fair trade-off.
All's fair. So, go ahead and schedule the future podcast episode right around late July, early August. And we'll do a fantasy football program for all the security professionals that are playing in their various leagues. You'll give us the insight. We'll all win in 2017-18 season. It'll be a great thing.
Hey, I'm all for that as long as I don't play in those leagues too, because I don't want to play against myself. That's for sure.
Understand. Now, we do got one last problem, though. You're a Rams fan. I can proudly say that I used to be a Rams fan.
Yeah. I don't think out here you can call it bandwagoning or anything new because how bad they were, but we're open for a good future, a revamp of the whole system. We need it.
Well, being a guy from St. Louis, they definitely need to revamp and restart because poor football is what they play.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to know a little bit. You and I both share a common point. I was a part of the 2012 class of security professionals 20 under 40 from Security Systems News. You were part of the end users class here recently in 2016. For me, I didn't really know what it meant. And then one day I went to a conference, I received my award, I got to meet my peers that were a part of my class, and found myself really humbled at the knowledge of others within our industry. Can you share a little bit about your experience up to this point and what it's meant to you?
Sure, definitely. So being a part of it, I think it was the same thing as you, where it kind of came out of nowhere. I actually didn't even know I was nominated for it. I got a message saying I won it, and I started looking into it. I'm like, wow, this is pretty great. I spoke with them over there afterwards. They asked a lot of questions about what I'm working on, different things like that. They were actually interviewing me to speak, so they offered me to be a panelist there, and I will be speaking there, I guess, at the end of this month after the awards ceremony. So part of that is engaging with some of my peers and talking to them about different things we're going to be talking about on the panel and realizing how great it is to, like you said, talk to other intelligent people in the field, especially people that come from different backgrounds, gas utilities background, some other than entertainment, and kind of bouncing ideas off each other, whether it be from technology to regular security standards or, anything in that realm, because we have such a different outlook or different outtake on things. So it was definitely interesting to talk to them. I'm very looking forward to meeting them in person and then, talking on the panel and kind of getting all of our ideas and different thoughts about security out there to everyone else.
It's really one of the things I'm most excited about with this podcast is our ability to hear the voices of others in this industry. Although I work with some great professionals, I've met some great people here within my own city. Sometimes I find myself in a little bit of a bubble, not necessarily appreciating, again, the vast amount of knowledge that is shared within this industry. So being a part of this group, being a part of a podcast like this and getting to hear these voices is, as the commercial says, priceless.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. I mean, I know in the entertainment industry, we're, very incestuous. We're all down here in Hollywood, LA, Burbank region. We all, have the same interests, have the same likes, have the same security-minded mindset. But I like to get out of that bubble, like you said, and know what the technical sector is doing. What is healthcare doing? What is gas and utilities doing? What is the government doing? So trying to meet with all those other groups and getting their way of thinking about security definitely helps me out because they come from a mindset of, I didn't even think about that. Or, I'm shooting a production here involving governmental stuff. Maybe I should include this in it. Or, I'm dealing with something with utilities. I should include this in it. So it's something that wouldn't even come to my mind that someone else just bounces off me in their regular day-to-day work, and it blows my mind.
Often we look at organizations that are our competitors. We look at them as competitors and we think, I can't really network with their security manager because we're competitors and I can't share information that might benefit their organization. On the flip to that, I talk to other security managers who take the exact opposite approach of, yes, we compete in business, but we deal with the same issues because we're in the same business, we're in the same industry, the same vertical. What's your thoughts there of networking with others in your exact line of work?
I actually love it. I know, I guess if you ask marketing or production or someone else, they'd see like a Disney or a Sony or Fox, NBC, Warner Brothers as competition, where we're kind of more close-knit because we have the same interests. We want to protect the same type of assets. We have the same types of concerns. And we're not, we're a cost center. We don't make money on it. So it's not like a direct competition for us. We're actually all friends. I was over at Sony last week having lunch with them, bouncing ideas off. I just checked out. They built a brand new GSOC, which looks amazing over there. And we meet, we talk all the time. We set up different groups, whether it be an analyst group, a security managers group, the technology group. And we talk about different technologies, different security industry things that we're going through. And we try to work it out with each other. So we're real open to communication in that way. I think it's a great thing about our industry. And I know we're going to be pushing more going forward, setting up actual meetings, quarterly meetings, trainings. We do group trainings together. So with us, it's a real close-knit community, and we collaborate a lot.
You recently became a member of this special class of 20 under 40. What advice could you give to younger professionals that might be aspiring to be a part of a group like this in their future?
I think one of the main things is networking is huge. So I've never been afraid of talking to my peers or asking them their thoughts or meeting with other industry players. I think always questioning and always seeking more is key to that. I know when you say stuff like technology is the future, it kind of sounds cliche, but it's also very true. So thinking outside of your boundaries where you see physical and cybersecurity becoming linked. So knowing both words is key. So reach out to people that know something that maybe is not your strength, it's your weakness. And then maybe they can use something that you have to say into theirs too. So keeping an open mind is very important. Not your path isn't concrete. You got to keep working at things. Maybe a door will open up. I don't think anyone growing up as a kid, when you go to job fairs or anything like that, you think I'm going to work in the security industry. This is what I wanted to always do for a living. It's always, usual, I want to be a fireman or astronaut or that kind of stuff. So when you either go to college or you start working through your career and you find something that interests with you, that's what you should stick with.
You're right. Security is boring. At least when you say the word, it seems boring. I think most imagine the guy walking around with a security officer's uniform, maybe a can of mace. He's just walking around a building looking half bored, maybe just sleeping at a desk. And that goes through the thought process of some when they hear security. The reality, though, is our industry is full of quite possibly some of the coolest technology available. And I know you are an expert and passionate about the technology in our industry, specifically how to take technology and make it work for you proactively versus reactively. Can you dive into how you really do what you do, how you find this technology, and give us some additional insights of how we can get better at being more proactive in what we do?
Sure. I'll go back to touch on that security word a little bit. Sometimes, like you said, people see it as kind of a dirty word. I know I was doing an install, last week up in Canada, up in Montreal, and you introduce yourself as Paramount Security. I technically work for Global Risk and Crisis Management, but it's an arm of it. And it's the same kind of stigma. Some people will give you a look like, oh, he's just going to install a camera, or he's here to monitor us, or that kind of thing. So I think it's kind of breaking out of that role. Security is such an encompassing word that most people that don't deal with it have no idea of all the intelligence that's involved in it, the background, the forecasting, the risk mitigation, everything that comes with that word itself. So the word itself, I think, is evolving. It's still security, but like you said, technology is changing the word for the future. That's the path we're going down. No one can stop it. It's making everything a lot easier, and I guess it's bringing up the industry standard to what security or security guard or security company manager actually does. So I guess in leading into that, technology is huge for us. Like you said, I love being more proactive than reactive. I think reactive is an old way of thinking about security, dealing with, access control and cameras and any sort of basic security systems like that. I would rather not look at a camera that has footage from 3 days ago trying to solve a crime. I'd rather see the footage as it's happening, have the 10 minutes before that, so I know where the guy come from, what does it look like, where did he walk up, and react to that right away by either dispatching our officers or calling police or trying to solve the crime in progress if it's crime or theft or anything. I think that's the way the industry is going now. I think that's the future, and using different security tools to do that is where most firms need to be.
So can you give us a tool that you're using right now that's allowing you to be a little more proactive? Because what I typically see is a news station show a grainy picture of somebody that just robbed a convenience store saying, hey, if you can help out, let us know. And I know that's not the right way of doing this.
That's definitely correct. And most of the time, that person's either gone or, as you can have $1 million camera system all you want. The guy throws on a hood and then your system's defeated. So unless you get any real-time information, it's pretty much useless. So one of the big things now, which has kind of been an industry hot topic, I guess for us and industry-wide, is social media monitoring. There are many different tools. There's actually been a bunch of controversy surrounding it recently with a lot of the big players like the Geofedias, the Snap Trends, where there was, I think, an ACLU lawsuit that went out, which which had Twitter, Instagram, Facebook cancel their feeds so they couldn't watch it anymore. And the main concern was the government agencies monitoring people like during riots or, situations in that civil unrest where they can actually go through and arrest people or use social media to, I guess, arrest people. So they didn't like that at all. So the industry itself has been changing. We use a platform called Data Miner. It is actually partially owned by Twitter, so they didn't have these issues, and they deal with more of the private industry like myself, brand management companies, things like that. So for me, leveraging social media is massive because it gives you instant real-time data at the location of the situation happening, whether it's video footage, whether it's just a tweet, whether it's words or keywords coming in. it will tell you immediately what is happening. So, for instance, with Data Miner, we surround we have 26 offices worldwide. We have production shooting all over the world all the time. We surround them with certain criterias. We track for global terrorism, any events that can happen. And usually within 5 seconds after it happens, we'll get a notification about it, and then we can do more research, analyze it, and then push stuff out to either our employees that are local or our employees that are sent over there or are local to the actual place where the incident's happening. So the mindset has changed with people nowadays, where it used to be you see someone walking through a airport with a gun shooting something, you're going to run away, hide, try to call the police, where now people will whip out their phones, they will record it, or they will tweet about it and send it all to their friends or family or anyone online that will listen. So for us, being able to pick up on that stuff is key. And Data Miner offers us that, I guess, that quick solution to have a global outreach, to be able to get information instantly, to be able to push it out to all of our employees and then beat the news by it. Usually we'll get it out. I'll be able to notify my employees. I'll be able to do research on the incident 20, 25 minutes before it hits like a CNN or a major news network, because a lot of them are using the same kind of tools, but they have to go through the process of analyzing it first, vetting it, where myself, I can do quick work. And if I can take this extra 20 minutes and try to get one of my employees or one of my assets or save a life or do anything like that, I will make the call to push it out immediately. And then they can make the call locally, whether it's evacuate or not, or how it affects them.
Can you build a little better picture of a story of how this works from start to finish, theoretically at least?
Sure. So what it is, you get an overlay, I guess a map per se, and you can geolocate your assets across the globe. So say if we have an office in Germany or Turkey or Hungary, and there's an incident, we will geolocate that incident, and you will go through, and Data Miner actually has you select parameters to see. You want terrorism? Do you want crime? Petty theft? Is there political problems? What is happening in the region? So you can actually physically select, and then you can choose different alert levels. Is it an urgent notice? Is it just a local notice which could affect, just the local people? Is it national news? So that way you can kind of filter out the results that are coming in and out, because for me, we run a very small team here, and I don't have time to go through hundreds of emails. I don't have a team that does it. I utilize technology to help me do my job better. And so for me, building in the right filters for this, it will let me know that there is a man with a machete attacking, the Louvre in France. So then I can respond. I can look at my travelers and say, I actually have 6 travelers right there right now. It's the weekend. They might be there. So we can reach out to them and say, hey, are you okay? Do you need anything from us? Is this a bigger issue than we think it is? Situations like that.
And then the social media feeds, you're able to get true insight of the events and the surrounding areas based on people's statuses, videos that they provide, all of that through the various social media outlets?
Correct. So what it does, it mainly works with Twitter. Facebook has usually blocked a lot of their feeds. Instagram is hit or miss, but for us, we find that Twitter works very well, especially internationally. A lot of people use it. And what it will do, it will build, I guess, a case, you could call it, around a certain area. So it will pick up the first couple instances that come in, and then it will package, the 100 other ones that go in the same one. So you will get constant feeds about the information, where it's occurring. It's situational updates as it's actually happening. You'll get videos, you'll get pictures of stuff going on. You get people saying where someone's headed or, different location incidents. So it's pretty amazing what it does and what it can package through, and the type of intelligence it gives you when I'm 10,000 miles away, getting stuff instantly, and I can alert my people that are 10,000 miles away at the same time when they could have no idea what's going on a mile away from them.
This is on and off the topic. I just have to bring it up. If I'm in a bad situation, let's call it some sort of terrorist event, and I'm able to successfully remove myself from the threat, am I able to be a useful tool to law enforcement, to security organizations by getting on Twitter and posting updates?
You as a local person in the incident?
Yes.
Yes, definitely. So I know they all track it. What it does for them is build a timeline of incidents and locations, so they know exactly what happened, where it happened, and they can respond faster too. So it's the same, I guess, type of mindset where they're actually boots on the ground, where I'm more intelligence gathering and then sending out notification updates, or asking if you're okay if we need to notify boots on the ground, where they're full reactionary, but they know exactly what's happening, where it's happening. If there's a shooting in a club and someone tags, I'm at this club and there's a shooting, they see it, they know immediately where to go. So there's no worrying about phone calls, tracking someone's phone number, seeing if they're actually at the right place, what are your cross streets. It pinpoints everything for you so they can react faster.
It's interesting to realize that we can use our social media profiles to actually assist with law enforcement and response, so that they're actually more effective and not necessarily operating as blind as they may have operated years ago. It
Correct.
brings a whole
Yeah,
new
that's correct.
importance to hashtag.
Yep. And a lot of it is, based on the location feeds, and, it's all public data. If you have your stuff turned to private, it can't find you and different things like that. But it allows them to be more efficient in their response, more efficient in their jobs. And I mean, it's just an amazing tool. Most of the footage you see on like a CNN or, breaking news or anything like that is actual footage that they pull from these types of companies, like a data miner, from the people's tweets, because it's live, it's late breaking, it's there, it's now, it's new. So a lot of it's not the best footage or whatever, but it's on scene, it's close, and it's ongoing.
In your world, I would assume that you're protecting some higher level executives as well as some higher level celebrities. Does this assist you in that protection as well? So if someone begins making threats in a social media calling out a specific name, does that put your team in a higher alert to protect that specific asset?
It definitely does. So we're able to track either if we get threats coming in specifically for people, or profile tracking, things like that. So obviously we deal with high end VIPs, VIP security, talent security, I guess regional security or surrounding a production, because we're going to be there for 3 months or 4 months or 5 months. So when Hollywood's in a place, usually it's there. Nothing we can do about that. But this type of technology allows us to monitor stuff coming in. A lot of the times we found, like I said, with the airport incident, people will record it and send it there first instead of calling for help. We find the same thing with a lot of stalkers or things like that. They will post things because they want people to know that they are obsessed with someone, or they want to do harm to someone. So they're not usually shy in hiding it if it's direct threat, things like that. So it allows us to help monitor that and try to keep them safe and mitigate any threat to personnel or property that way.
Very interesting stuff. We could talk probably all day on this topic, but I know that you're using some other technologies as well that are allowing you to be more proactive. Can you give us another example?
Sure. Besides social media, a big thing for us also is situational awareness. So this also involves geotagging locations. Like I said, we have 26 global offices. We have productions worldwide all the time. We have hundreds of travelers a day. So I use a software called Anvil, and it's I use their travel tracking program, and I use their situational awareness program. So it's kind of a 2-in-1, where I will plot a location, say Paramount Picture Studios in Hollywood. I will surround it with another bubble, and then I will put in the filters of anything that happens in that region will come in as an actual report, saying what happened in that region, what are the responses, who is traveling in that region, is there an investigation ongoing, is it current, is it, information that was leaked from social media sources or whatever. So they'll take some of the information you'd get from a company like Dataminer. They have other sources that they use. Usually these are all global companies. A lot of them are based in the UK. And they will push out information written by their local analysts detailing the situation as it's happening. So for us, it's pretty amazing, where I can find out if something doesn't pop up on social media. I can find out that thousands of flights are canceled in the Northeast, so I can notify our travel department that, hey, you're going to need to rebook all these people. You might need to call someone else in to help you out with this. Or there's a bomb threat at LAX. So I'll check to make sure the travelers that are affected, which will pop up on my screen, that none of them are arriving at that time, or they already departed. Or if they're there, we can get a hold of them and say, hey, what's going on with this? Or if there's planned demonstrations, they track that kind of stuff too. So I know we just had some planned demonstrations in one of our locations up in Turkey. So I notified them last night, if you guys are doing any scouting or shooting in the local regions, they're going to block off these streets. You might want to avoid that. You might want to postpone until Monday, or figure out another way to handle that, or push it to the week after or whatever. So it not only works with life safety events, it works with cost savings. It's like I said, it's perfect situational awareness. It helps you know what's going on surrounding all of your assets worldwide, and you can kind of track that stuff as it comes in. So it's pretty great.
That's one of the things that just jumped out to me as you were talking about that, is not only was that security, you're saving the company cost of not being at the wrong place, wrong time, and wasting the labor resources that may have been wasted by trying to shoot on a day where it would not have even been possible.
That's correct. Yeah, we try to do that. You can use it for forecasting. We get a lot of scout requests. They want to shoot in a certain area, and we'll do intelligence reports and research on that and see if it's actually feasible for them to shoot there. How many incidents happened in the past 6 months? Is it a good idea? Is there anything upcoming that they should know about? So we're real intuitive with that stuff. We love communicating with all of them, and if it's important or an issue, arises, we will reach out, whether it be a production or we had a bomb threat in Australia yesterday, which is close to our office there. We reached out to them and said, hey, if you're not aware of this, if anyone's going to travel that way on the way home, you might want to avoid it, things like that. So it's not only for safety, like you said, it's for monetary reasons, business reasons, anything that we can help them out, get better situational awareness around their physical location because they have other stuff to worry about. That's our job to complete.
One thing that jumps out to me, Jeff, is how many of us in our security industry are great at security. We love our technology. You've excited us about technology, but we are not good at selling the cost benefit to the company, providing an ROI to the organization. How are you successful at getting your organization to invest in these tools from a business standpoint and not just the security standpoint?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, security is tough because we don't generate revenue. So having an ROI, especially on systems or anything involving security related events, is massively important, especially to us. With the entertainment industry, it's all risk mitigations. Nothing's mandated. In a lot of government agencies, you have policies, procedures, actual codes and violations, stuff to fall back on. Well, we don't have any of that stuff. So we have to make ourselves not only available as a service, but as a service that everyone actually wants, so we can keep ourselves around. So I know when we built out our program, we were able to, increase our reach from lot-based to global, and we were able to, produce an ROI of 3 years. So it allowed us to expand, our reach while saving money at the same time, and then proving to upper management, wow, this is worth it. So our big push is knowledge based. We like showing off our new global operations center that we built. Well, we love showing the upper executives what we can offer them. I go to the production meetings. I travel around the world and go to different productions and say, hey, we can do this stuff for you. I know you're paying a local guy, but I have connections with the FBI and CIA. I can get all this intelligence now and send it over to you, and it doesn't cost you anything. We're here for you. We will work for you. Use us.
Jeff, I usually save this for the end of the show, but I feel like you led into it, and I would be remiss if I missed it. Are you saying that you like to show what your organization does? So if I end up in your neck of the woods and I'm just interested in connecting with you and interested in learning how your organization, Paramount Pictures, does things, that as long as you have the bandwidth, you would entertain having us come and learn from you?
For sure. Yeah, of course. I love talking to people about it. I love showcasing what we've done. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is a lot of hard work. It's a lot of planning. It takes a lot of time. You got to be available, 24/7 if someone needs it. I mean, we're obviously a global operation, but it's hard in the beginning to plan all this stuff. And it's been a 3-year process for us. We learn as we go, and sharing that knowledge with others, I think it's not bad. I think it's a responsibility too, because it helps someone else out. Why have someone try to work out a problem or a situation when, I solved it 2 years ago. So I have no problem helping other people out with their dilemmas or problems. And, if you want to come on the lot and check out our stuff and check out the lot itself too, which most people end up doing, that's no problem. We love sharing what we do. We love sharing our technology and our insights and the issues that we've had, creating this platform itself.
Well, a bit later, we'll open it up for you to explain how we can reach you and how we can connect with you for the future. We are running a bit low on time, and I'm wondering if you can share one of those fun stories. Many of us work in, I call them boring organizations. We might do cool stuff as a company. We might supply great product, great services, great technology, but we're not working with or surrounded by celebrities, which excites many people. Are you able to share a fun story about one of your, we'll call it a cool experience that you've had working for Paramount?
Sure. I guess in being here 13 years, you get kind of jaded to the experience. I remember when I first came on the lot how overwhelmed I was with it. It's pretty awesome to be in such an iconic place. It's over 100 years old, and everyone that's passed through the gates and everyone that, pays money to take tours every day or stands outside and takes pictures, that kind of thing. So I've had some good experiences over the years. There's a couple of funny ones I could probably get into. I think the thing that most people don't realize is, especially big A-list actors are usually very, very relaxed people. And I know they're probably more relaxed on the lot because they work here. So it's not open to the public, besides guided tours. So they're more themselves. So you can talk to them. I know I used to work and talk to Matthew McConaughey all the time. And it had nothing to do with, anything involving Hollywood itself or whatever. We talk about trucks and cars when he'd come out because he loved trucks. Me and his old beat up truck used to drive out all the time. So we used to talk about that. I know when Jim Carrey was here filming in Lemony Snicket's, he threw a party for all of his crew, especially the drivers and stuff, every Friday night after shooting. And then they'd come out and they'd bring us all the leftover beer, and he'd sit and talk to us, even though he's worked for 14 hours a day. And they'd invite us to the base camp and we can check out their sets, which were probably the most amazing sets I've seen. So it's all real, I guess, low key. They're normal people. They're personable people. They feel comfortable here. It's nice to just have normal conversations. I was good friends with Cameron Crowe, and, he was an editor for Rolling Stone too. So he was directing a couple movies here, and we'd talk about different things, and he'd give me a couple of vinyls to listen to, and, we'd talk back and forth about music, things like that. So it's definitely an interesting place to work. The atmosphere and the vibe is amazing. The culture is amazing. And I guess, being able to come here every day and do what we do, showcasing what we do, which is great because they love us for it, even though it's a lot of behind the scenes work people don't realize. It's really a blessing, and I'm humbled by it. So it's pretty amazing.
Well, there are some who will think that you've got the greatest job ever. I've had the chance to talk to you a little more than just this episode, and I recognize that your job entails so much work that's not related to being on the lot and just hanging out with A-listers. But we do appreciate the story for sure.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's a lot of us behind the scenes here make the couple people on screen look good, but we know here too that they appreciate it, so it's nice.
For those who do want to connect with you after this episode, can you give a couple ways where they might be able to reach out to you effectively?
Sure. I'm on LinkedIn all the time. I have a lot of connection on there, so that'll be an easy way to get through it. You can always email me, Jeff_Reider at Paramount.com, and the Reider is Reider. That's probably the easy way to get a hold of me too, because I'm traveling a lot or never in my office, but I always have my phone on me. So that's another good way of getting a hold of me.
And I always recommend to everybody, when you connect via LinkedIn, it's good to reference this podcast so Jeff knows where the request is coming from. Podcast name is Security Pro Insights. And so just reference that in your connection request, and Jeff will be happy to accept it. Jeff, coming up shortly is ISC West there in Las Vegas. That's not too far from your home. Will you be in attendance this year?
Yes, I will be there, yes. I love it. A lot of good technology and vendors, and good to catch up with a lot of friends there. So it's a good place to go.
Let's end on this note. ISC West is known to have all the vendors showcasing their latest and greatest technology that's coming out. What technology or technologies should we be looking for if we have the chance to attend as well?
Well, the big thing for us that we're looking for next year is, it's actually twofold. One is facial recognition, which is kind of another step for us. It's finally getting to the point where you can build a local database and it will actually recognize his faces coming in. I know the technology in the past has been pretty spotty, but we've met with a bunch of vendors and they'll be showcasing there. And that's interesting for us, either working events or for our VIP tours or other soft spots that we have on the lot where we can't really verify who's coming in. Is a good way to have the facial recognition there. So one of the things we're looking at is that. And the other thing for us, which we're trying to push a lot, is it's wireless signals for cameras. So a lot of the times for us, building infrastructure is cost prohibitive. So they have technology out there now that can shoot massive amounts of data for extremely low cost that can run, a 20 camera system with no issues at all. So it's crazy technology. You don't have to run any wires, anything like that. It's pretty revolutionary. It's the tech coming up in the future. Like I said, it's going to save tons of money for infrastructure. I know a lot of cities around Southern California are starting to use it for traffic cams, things like that, because there's no infrastructure needed. It's a power cord, and then you point in one device at the other, and these things can shoot up to 3 miles. So it's pretty amazing.
Jeff, I want to thank you for your time and the information you gave us today. It was fantastic. We look forward to having you again as a special guest in the future. And we wish you much success in your day-to-day work and look forward to the next time.
Scott, I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Security Pro Insights. I'd like to remind you that we are only as good as the feedback we receive from each and every one of you. My request is this. If you would please go to the website, Security Pro Insights, and go to the contact page. Please send me a note either through the contact page or through my LinkedIn profile. Let me know what you enjoy about the show and what you would like to hear in future episodes. Again, we appreciate your time and happy day.